How you doing? I'm Chase Johnson Lynch, your host here on Liverpool Community Podcast. And I mean, I was just wondering, like, we left the TV noise on, which has this kind of spiritual music on. And usually we don't hear background noise outside of the microphones. But I thought, you know what? I was going to say turn that off, but maybe it's appropriate for this particular guest. Because as you know, we try to endeavor to find people in the community that are doing important work, passionate work, with other people where it's like, I want to talk to this person and find out more about them. One such person here with us today is Kim Bradley, the founder of Om Shanti CIC. How you doing, Kim?
Hi, I'm well, thank you.
All right, so Kim's gonna have to speak up because hey, she does a lot, but if she, it's like right. Kim, Shante. I mean, like, I think there's so many different people out there who know of Namaste and all this other kind of stuff. But I just did a little bit of reading, and all I found was like, what, like the first word of the universe or something? It means the past, present, and everything.
Yeah.
You know, Oh, I'm glad I got Phil to tell me that. Om is two syllables, even though it sounds like one. But Om Shanti CIC is a spiritual wellness center, and that's what I found most fascinating. Because like to set up a spiritual wellness center here in Liverpool, can you tell us about the center that you set up about 2 years ago?
Okay, so I had a vision in lockdown, in the beginning of lockdown. I was doing like free meditations online, helping people. I'm a spiritual medium, so I was passing messages for people, and I'd done it religiously every night. And then what happened is every morning I'd wake up to hundreds of messages
Yeah.
of people saying, "You saved my life last night. I'm so happy. My mum's okay." And that message has really given me like inspiration. I want to go back to work, and empowered them by the message that I gave them. And then as I was meditating myself, I had a vision of helping 1 million people. So I said to the universe, well, if this is what I've got to do, you need to bring me a big, massive centre. And hey ho, here I am today at Om Shanti.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's amazing. It's like to do what I want to do, I need to be able to do it someplace and everything. And, come to the center. Now, before the center, you were already doing spiritual healing
Yeah,
for like about 15 years.
yeah.
And I mean, we're going to get further into your origin story, but I just thought that was like really fascinating, that at this point in time where we are at the present,
Yeah.
you decided to, I don't know, would you say to solidify what you do into a place where you could bring in others to help you help others.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
so, because the center provides so many different things that is on offer, such as
So we do like meditations every week. We do like grieving meditations for parents who've lost children.
yeah,
We do meditations for children who've had miscarriages, stillborns, things. We help with people who've gone through domestic violence. We also help mindfulness for children, meditation for children.
so it's children your focus.
Well, the children becomes the adult, doesn't it? So the adult needs the child work fixing. So if the
Yeah.
adult's got problems within the child,
Well,
within their inner child, we need to fix that, don't we, also?
I was going to say that because I thought that was fascinating about that is the inner child work that you do is like, a lot of adults usually they are the result of their past, aren't they? So like in that aspect, it's like things happen, and when we're children and we take a lot on board that is not even ours, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, that's why you have to have this inner child healing. But what I'm finding fascinating is that you actually work with those adults, but you also work with children as they are children at the
Yeah.
moment of time, where some of them may be in the midst of that crisis.
Yeah,
I mean, is
absolutely.
this true?
Yeah, absolutely. We have children who've come to the centre who've like ready to take their lives and everything. And we've done like a couple of weeks work with them, and now they've got jobs and they're like doing amazing. Mental health's amazing because it's about not holding on to things that's happened in the past. It's about dealing with that. It's about
But how
going to
many
that.
of us as adults have had to hold on to things for such as 18 years or more?
Because it's a condition that we've been placed upon, hasn't it?
No,
so we've
exactly.
been placed with these conditions, but if you can undo these conditions and free yourself from that energy, that's attachment, that trauma attachment, and you can free yourself, then you are going to be free, aren't you, from that attachment?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I love it how you use the word trauma attachment because, see, for me, like I have done, you know, psychology and counseling and stuff like that. And I would be fascinated to know the statistics. And I know you probably don't know the statistics. But like, if you had the chance to alter your perception of the reality that was building around you as a child, if you had the chance at that time of being a teenager, you know, after crisis,
Yeah.
you know, to walk the earth, you know, into the world without the chains of trauma,
Yeah.
I mean, what would that be like? And I'm just wondering if you had that experience of seeing young people after, you know, working with them, you know,
Absolutely.
this
Yeah.
that. Can you say a little bit about that?
So, okay, we had a girl who was like slicing herself and who was self-harming. She come to see me when I was in a place in Rodney Street when she was 13. Worked with her a couple of times and then learned how to complete. Like it's important about to complete with issues that are going on,
Yeah.
instead of keeping it. So I always my method is to relive, to release, to complete.
Ooh, let's say that again.
So
We live to release to
relive,
complete.
release to complete. So it comes in your mind, your body, and your soul.
Yeah.
So it's about not keeping them energies, them attachments.
Exactly.
In your
Because it's not
physical
yours
body.
either.
No, it's not yours. It's been placed upon you. But everything happens for a reason.
No, it
And
is.
these are your life lessons. And every lesson you have a blessing.
No, it is. And I mean, we were talking a bit about breath work and cellular memory, you know, and it's like, you know, the things that are trapped in our bodies that inform our movements, you know, it's just amazing when there's a place like yours and a person like you who can help us through, you know, breakthrough, really, as early as you can. Sometimes it might be later in life, but then those people, I mean, I think you even gave us a story about a woman with who said that she had long-term COVID. You know, is that like the changes that people feel, not just maybe after one session with you, but you know, like, you know, to be able to do sessions with you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
So it is life changing because I do a healing which I've created myself over the years. I've created this healing. It's called Angelic Reset, which it resets your cellular memory. It goes into your DNA. It changes how you see, how you hold on to things. It changes everything. So you become from that negative, stagnant energy that you're carrying with all the problems that in your body and things. You come from that to go to being free, to all your cells being brand new, to being able to like ask for a pair of glasses and you manifest it within seconds, you know, because you've got that abundance energy inside, you've got that self-love, you've got that like self-worth, and it's like, you know, you can do anything, and when you've got that inside, anything, the world's your oyster.
An angelic reset. It just seems to be because you said it's a form of Reiki, isn't it?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and like you know, I just kind of like that, and you say it really works for people.
Yeah. So there's a lady, an example, there's an older lady, she was 65, and she couldn't sit down on the floor. She hasn't sat down on the floor for 20 years. She struggles to sit down on a chair. So we done the reset with her. And then within a couple of days, she was able to sit on the floor and cross her legs
Without even realizing that she was
without
doing
even
it.
realising that she'd done it.
and stuff. No, no, no. But isn't that like the kind of thing? It's like I don't even know I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's like I get used to the fact that I don't do it
Hmm.
and everything, and there it goes. I mean, like the thing about it is that what I thought was interesting is that you I'm gonna say like you're partnered with, but you work with other organizations, and you would like to work with more, I guess. But one such organization is called Poppy's Palace
Yeah.
for grieving moms
Hmm.
and everything, where you facilitate meditations and stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Poppy's Palace.
Um, so the girl, the founder of Poppy's Palace, come into the centre. She just come for a reading, and then I picked up on a little girl and give her a message from a little girl, and then she felt connected, and then she felt like happy. Just at that moment, she was happy, and she was like, "Can you help other mums?" So I was like, "Yeah." So then that's when I just started doing meditations for them.
Yeah, I mean, like, and the thing about it is the fact that when they are able to work in groups. Is
Yeah.
this right?
Hmm.
So would you say that you do like group what like breath work or and you also mentioned sound healing too, which is
Yeah.
another
So in
big
the
thing and
angelic
stuff. So.
reset, I do the sound healing with the frequencies, and then also the breath work. So
Yeah,
it all combines into one.
yeah. What's that thing called that you showed me that video of Phil? Where they're running the stick along the cup.
Oh, that's the sound of the
The singing bowl.
the singing bowl. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Phil.
Yeah, the
You only had one job.
Sorry, the Tibetan. The Tibetan. I've got lots of jobs going on.
I know, man, but I mean, if I had you guys just give me the answer, bro. I mean, like now I feel like an idiot. But yeah, it's a singing.
Tibetan, in origin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks
It's
so.
gorgeous sound, is it? Do you,
No,
do
it
you
is.
use gongs as well?
We haven't, unfortunately, we haven't got one yet, but we'd look for funding for one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Phil. Thanks. So let's go back to the origin story. Because I found this fascinating because um, you said you started out as a medium
Yeah.
and everything. Now that's pretty cool. So how old were you when you started seeing dead people? Is that about right? I'm not being facetious.
This is not the sixth sense, okay?
All right.
So I
Okay.
felt a connection with angels when I was when I was a very young child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like see a situation that had come up, and I'd know not to go to that situation.
Yeah.
So it was like I was guided through like childhood, and I'm dyslexic, can't read, write, and it was like in school or like in any exams that I've done, I've always just touched the paper and had an energy like, oh yeah, press B,
Yeah.
then you've been right.
Yeah.
So I've worked with all my senses as a child,
You
growing
know-
up into the adult.
To be real serious on this, it's like now that we have this thing called the autistic spectrum, what it is the fact that there's so many different varieties in people's brain, whether it's, it's all levels of autism and stuff like that. But, their perceptions are actually uniquely different. And so they can't deal with things the way other people deal with it. I don't want to say normal people. They can't deal with things that other people, but they perceive differently.
Yeah.
And so that's where the perception level comes into. So as far as you're saying is you're able to sense and see
Yeah, it's a
and
gift.
connect
It's a
with people.
gift, yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a
It
gift.
definitely comes
But you've
from
managed
above.
to control it or to assess it
Yeah.
to be able to inform people that
I've,
you've dealt with,
I've
haven't
just
you?
been able to trust. I've just trusted.
Trust. I guess, yeah.
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 That what's getting shown to me is what's getting shown to me. So
And
to
most
trust,
most people say, yeah, that is true. Or
Or is
whatever.
that my mind overthinking, or is this my intuition? And they put a
No, I meant about
label
what
as
you
well.
said about them. Most people were able to confirm
Mm-hmm.
what you were saying, weren't they? Like if you said that, you seen somebody or whatever, it was like, oh my God, how did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
Yeah,
got
that's the thing. And it's lovely when people come in and dead skeptic, and they think, oh, yes, she's not going to say nothing, or it's funny because they'll lie on the bed or something, and then they won't say nothing. And so you'll ask them, what's brought you here today? And you go, oh, yeah, I just want to see what happens. And you're like, okay. So then they make it harder for you to like, so you've got to like, okay, you've got to give me 100% evidence that you're here, and only that they'll know. That's what I always say to them, only they'll know, and so I can relate to that to them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, they look at me then, and then they start relaxing down when I start giving them the evidence of only things that they'd know.
Now, here's where the reality comes in. You just naturally do this, don't you?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were like doing this to make money.
No.
You know, if somebody comes to you or asks you for help, or whatever, you found yourself in a situation where you would do it, and like you do it for free. You know, I think you said at one point you opened up a spiritual shop
Yeah.
and everything like that, and as opposed to like getting paid to do this mediumship for others, you decided to set up a box where they could donate.
Yeah.
You were collecting for the Woodlands, you
Yeah,
said.
the Woodlands Hospice, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the Woodlands Hospice, and I think you had a really interesting story around about your
Yes.
end goal.
Yeah, so what happened is, so my sister was diagnosed with cervical cancer, and it took her within the 6 weeks. But I was already on my little spiritual journey before my sister passed, and then as she passed, I was with her on the Saturday night, and she basically come out of a coma and said, you need to go home, because she knew I wouldn't have been able to cope if she passed, but I knew she was going to pass on the Sunday, which was quite strange. So I went home, and then she'd passed on the Sunday. So I weren't there when she passed, but everyone sort of else was. But I knew that was not wanting me to be there. But then it was like the very next day, I seen her in like a physical form show up and said, you've got loads of work to do. I'm going to be with you. I want you to help all these people. So I'm like, okay, am I losing the plot? Am I really losing the plot? Do I need like some help or something? And then it just went on from that day on. Every person who crossed my path had someone in the Woodlands who'd passed over. So it was like my sister up there was just creating all these people, bringing them to me, saying they need the help. They were in the Woodlands.
Yeah.
So that's where the mediumship just like flew from there.
Yeah. But then again, it's just that, like, I think you said, so you managed to collect about...
So, yeah, I had my little spiritual shop, and I was collecting for the Woodlands, and I had, like, £240 in the box, but then the shop closed. So I sort of went away to do my journey, to carry on learning, developing, seeing all the signs that they were giving me, and just going along with everything. And then on the day before I shut the shop, a lady come in to my shop. Well, it's actually in the morning time. I went to my mum's in Ellesmere Port with my friends, and I ended up somewhere in Wales. And I was with the friends at the time, and we ended up outside this caravan. And we were looking at that caravan. It was like, the caravan's lovely. And then we realised, hey, how have we got to Wales when we were in Ellesmere Port? We were supposed to be going to Kirby. Exactly. So anyway, we ended up driving back to Kirby, going to my little shop, and there was a lady standing outside the shop. And she'd said she'd been waiting for me all morning. And I basically said, okay, we're in the process of closing the shop, but come in and let's see what happens. Yeah. So as she come in, I just started talking about this caravan. Now, like, the person loved the caravan, and it was like the last holiday and things. And cut a long story short, I told her a lot of things, and basically she said to me, you've just been turned into my dad for the last hour. Told her she was going to have 2 children, she was going to marry someone in the Navy and things. And then, she just put a little donation in my box. As I said, I'm just collecting for the Woodlands because I really wanted my sister to get this leaf. Yeah. Because it's like, I didn't want her to be poor. I wanted her to have this golden leaf. Yeah. So I was passionate about getting that money for the leaf. And then it was like a year later, the girl got in touch with me on my sister's birthday, which is the 31st of May. and said, come and meet me at the Woodlands. And when I went to the Woodlands, the girl had actually done a charity night, and she collected, like, I think it was £860 or something,
Right.
for Arjuan, for my sister's
Yeah.
badge. So when I got there, she handed the money so we could get the badge.
So you made your goal.
So I made my goal, and it was like, I'd already asked, to be honest, I asked the angels to bring an angel to help me get this badge, because it was like grating on me that I really wanted to get this badge for her.
And that's what we
So
call
then
like
when
an
we got
angel
the
investor.
badge, yeah, when we got the badge, it took us 5 years to write on it, because I couldn't get the words out to write.
Yeah.
So she left 4 children behind, my sister.
Wow.
Yeah, she was only 36. So it went from there, you know. So then, yeah. It's just amazing. It was just how everything comes into place. The minute I ask for things, it just appears.
It's kind of like, is there coincidence or is there, predetermination? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. I just find it all fascinating myself. So this leads back to the money scenario because as a CIC, your center could use funding
Yeah.
and everything. I think you said you received some lottery funding just to actually purchase the venue, didn't you?
Yeah.
And everything.
Just to help, like, rebuild the
Yeah.
site, because it was like a working site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think it's weird, isn't it? I mean, like when the power is within you, and the belief and the positivity is, I just only want to help.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to put a price tag on it, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a passion. It's not. I don't work. It's my passion.
Exactly.
To see other people.
And people could see that in you,
Yeah.
and they're thankful. So, I mean, that's why when you say, make a donation, then, you trust in that. But then again, it's as an organization, then you have, like staff, I mean, like you have like one of your staffs here and stuff like that. Money is real in that aspect,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, out there for people, who can like touch to your story here and realize like, you know what, I would love to, go there and, and get touch a little bit of that magic and stuff and understand that, these places, to survive, this is what they need. But then you're still on that freeness because you just can't help yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's talk about some of these things that you do. Because, like, I think you offer free hypnosis.
Yeah.
What is that, on a Thursday or something?
Yeah, that's on a Thursday.
So how does that work?
So we have a person who come in who donates the time for the centre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And stuff like that. And but you also have walking capability as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We always have walking people. We had a lady, she lives in Portugal, and she come in for one afternoon just to meet me, yeah? And she comes in one afternoon and she was like, so what's the centre about? And I just said, the centre's about just helping. That's what I want. My passion is to help as many people as I can get on the right track. And within seconds, a guy knocked on the door, and I was like, okay, brought him in, and he was like, oh, hi, my name's such a body. Somebody told me that you could help me. I'm really having a little bit of a hard time. I've been 7 years sober. And I just don't know where to go. You're my last resort. And I was like, oh, you're very welcome, come in. So then we just got him on the bed and we done some healing. But the lady was coming to see the centre because she was going to facilitate some healing there. So I was like, oh, let's go together. So we both went in. We both done our healing with her together. And like, it was absolutely amazing energy between us both. It was absolutely lovely. And he was like, from that day, he's just told everyone, and he's like, it's so unreal. I feel so much better. He comes and gets his little hypnosis, and then sometimes I'll just give him 3 sessions, but he's doing absolutely amazing. So he just turns up out the blue because he just heard about it.
Because I don't know, I think there's like 2 types of hypnosis. I mean, like, is it like to visit past lives, or is it
No,
just
it's just to basically relax them down, just to put them in a nice, relaxing state of mind. You know, it's just
right?
to relax. If they've got anxiety, to just help with anxiety,
Uh,
you know, and depression. It's just to relax them. That's all it is. We just offer a relaxation
right.
hypnosis. Yeah.
No, 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 nice. So, I mean, like again, I just think this is all like fascinating stuff. Is that, you also, when I said you worked with other places like Poppy's Palace, you also worked with the Venus Center
Yeah.
and everything, and that was women living or dealing with domestic abuse, isn't
Yeah.
it? And everything, and I mean, pretty much it's like, what was that like? Is that just about inner child healing, breath work? What? It just
Um,
depends, or
so basically, first of all, you need to see where the state of mind is and what our end goal is, calming them down, finding that inner peace, but it's also making them aware that the mind doesn't control you, you control your own mind. So if
right,
you have a thought, then that thought can escalate into like a bad thought, or if you can have that thought and take it into the positive thought, you have that choice what to do. And it's
right.
just being mindful of the things that you say and being around people, you know, surround yourself with positive people, really.
Having a positive mindset.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard and difficult sometimes.
it is, but I've always, all my life, I've always looked for the positive in every negative, and I think that's just my natural gift. So if there's something comes at me, it's like, okay, there's a positive to it. So you find a solution, don't you, to the problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think this is all very fascinating stuff there, Kim. I don't know how many times I said the word fascinating today. Well, I mean, what's not so fascinating? I mean, like, where you're located here in Liverpool is like you're like a diamond in the rough, right? You're like a hidden gem in an alley.
Yeah.
Uh,
The building looks like a rough building
yeah.
outside, but then when you go
But
in,
you go inside and it's like,
yeah,
whoa.
you wouldn't think it was there. It's like gorgeous meditation spaces. We've even opened up like a temple space in there where people
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go and
yeah.
sit and just
I
be in
thought
that
that was
space.
I thought that was weird, like not weird, only because I'm not a vegetarian, but you said to go into the temple you have to be a vegetarian for 3 days.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean? That means
Because
you can't
it's
eat meat for three
non-violence,
days?
isn't it? Yeah.
It's
So
not what?
it's non-violence. Everything's energy.
What do you mean non-violence?
So non-violence. That animal suffered, hasn't it?
Oh, well, yeah.
So then you vet that animal and you've got that suffering inside.
Don't
So,
hate me. I don't really eat a lot anyway.
but it's only 3 days, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's basically it's seeing if you want to sacrifice something just to get something from it, you know? Because you do.
So what do you
It's
do
like
when
your
you go into
prayers
the
get
temple
answered.
then?
You just feel the energy. It's like a big hug from God.
Wow. Wow. And you've actually been to India as well. You say you went to an ashram out
Yeah.
there? How
Yeah.
was that?
Well, that was amazing. That's what really changed my life, going
I
to
could tell.
India and everything. And it learnt me how to complete, as I say, with that relive, release, complete. It learnt me like techniques on that. I've got my 12-year-old daughter. She does completion work with herself, and it's just I want to actually open like a little school for children to help.
Actually, before we go, I did want to mention that because we talked just very briefly about David Lynch's meditation school. I think you said it was a TM school. And young people could use a lot more meditation, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And stuff, especially with anxiety issues abound and everything
Because
like that.
them anxiety in a child is going to be an adult with anxiety.
It's
Then
tracked,
mental
right?
health. So if we can nurture the child to become the beautiful adult that they should be.
You've heard it here first. So, what about your socials there, Kim? I mean, like, people now heard your story. How can they find Om Shanti Spiritual Wellness Center?
So we're on TikTok. We're on
TikTok?
Facebook. Yeah.
Are you dancing on TikTok?
No, I just do some funny things. Then my daughter tells me I have to take them down, but I still do.
What?
She's like, Mum, you're like the most embarrassing mum on TikTok. But yeah,
Are you
that's
trying to
okay.
dance like that, speeding it up and everything?
Yeah, I do some crazy things. No, I just
Okay.
be myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got the TikTok, we've got Instagram, and we have Facebook.
And is it all under the same name?
Yeah.
Tell us the address.
Yeah, Om Shanti Spiritual Wellness Centre. Yeah.
Yeah, so look for Om Shanti Spiritual Wellness Center and everything. And, I think that's how Phil found you, isn't it, Phil?
Instagram, yeah.
See, look at that. It works.
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah,
He
the
must have been wanting
connections
to
work.
find inner peace.
Yeah, so if you want to find inner peace, Om Shanti. And also, too, if you want to help support Om Shanti, I'm pretty sure there are ways to do that as well. And stuff like that. If you like what you heard, what the ethos of the organization is all about, I think that it's definitely something worth, getting involved in. Funding, yeah, well, yeah, there's always donation boxes. But yeah, but no, definitely. And help them out because, like, the thing about it is that, we asked them, hey, what do you guys do for the summer, man? Got any big events coming up and everything? Somebody call Om Shanti and say, you know what, you guys should come to our event then and everything,
Yeah,
get a banner out.
absolutely, yeah.
And then, you could be doing some spiritual healing,
Yeah.
some hypnosis and all that and everything. I think you will have a line around the park and stuff,
Yeah.
and everything. So, see, you never thought about that, have you?
Yeah, that was my vision, to link up with so many people.
Your vision tapped into my vision. It was meant to be. See,
Yeah.
look at that for you to come here. Kimberly, I just want to thank you for coming on to our show, Liverpool Community Podcast, letting people know about the Spiritual Wellness Center that you've been involved with, and and letting people know that please, help support any way you can. And, so thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
And everything. And you're welcome. And you know what? For now, we out of here.